What policies do you support that will address three most important issues to the people living in San Bernardino, which are education, jobs, and crime and public safety?
I think education, you can't expect young people to achieve a quality of education when we suffer from the high rate of crime, the high rate of poverty, quite honestly, a low quality of life. You know, education starts at home. It starts in your neighborhood. And if we don't have a city where young people can feel safe and hopeful, it doesn't matter how much money we spend on schools and books and teachers. If the fundamentals of having a basic quality of life aren't there, we won't achieve our educational goals. I was fortunate that I grew up during a time when we had Norton Air Force Base. We had a very vibrant community when I was growing up. I remember we used to have our air shows at Norton, and I mean, there were all kinds of things. I remember going to the Orange Show growing up. I mean, all that stuff is gone now. It doesn't even exist. And it's when you have that type of a vibrant community where there are activities, there are things going on, where you aren't afraid and your parents aren't afraid to, go downtown or go shopping, and these are just very basic things. But if those aren't there, you can't expect your educational goals to be met in terms of, kids having the opportunity to grow up in a safe environment where they can actually learn.
You're right. Talk a little bit about jobs.
Well, and that goes right into jobs too. When there's no hope, what does that do to young people? Well, it makes them very fearful of the future, and they lose hope, and they look to do other things. And when we look at some of the tragedies that occur in our communities, I see gun violence, I see drug abuse, I see single-parent households, and I have to ask myself, why is this? We need to do our job in terms of a city. We need to provide, again, a safe environment for our residents. We need to protect life and property. When we do that, we begin to attract the business and investment we need to provide the jobs we need, to improve the quality of life we need, to provide the tax base we need, to provide the better city and better city services that you expect. It takes money to have clean parks. It takes money to have, civic events. It takes money to provide good schools and hire good teachers. And if we don't get back to the basics of making sure that we have a safe city first, and we balance our budget, we use our money wisely, we can't attract the businesses back to our community that we need to build our tax base that can provide the good jobs we need. So everything is tied together, but it really goes back to having a common sense government that's really focused on providing for protection of life and property first, balancing our budget, addressing our crime and blight issue, and then providing the confidence that's essential to attract the business we need. Government doesn't create jobs. Whatever you think, government doesn't create one job, but it can destroy jobs. And if it doesn't do its job, businesses will close. Customers will go shopping elsewhere. They'll go to Rancho Cucamonga, they'll go to Redlands, they'll go to Riverside, they'll go to Ontario. But if a business can't depend on a city to run itself effectively and provide a safe downtown environment, they aren't going to open their business here. And if they don't open our business here, we won't have the jobs we need, we won't have the tax base we need to provide the services that you deserve.